Hopefully you fasten your seatbelts for the next 2 hours.
Right.
That's nonsense, Quinn. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry.
I don't care what you buy.
That's nonsense.
My feeling.
You're not just buying a racetrack. You're buying a piece of American racing history right there. I mean, that's huge. The history behind the track, just mind-boggling.
You hear a lot of rumors in the rumor mill. I'll just keep tuning in to you guys to hear the truth when we come down to it. So
don't do that. I've already had one dose of tin hat syndrome today. I don't need a second one.
Stuart Friesen said to Brett, he says, "Why don't you bring us to more places like this?" And Brett goes, "There isn't any other place like this."
Race fans, it's time to throw it up on the cushion and get dirty. Coming to you live from the Finger Lakes and Southern Tier, it's time for Turn 5 Live. Now your hosts of Turn 5 Live, Steve Ovens, Clint Miller, and Brad Ovens.
Welcome aboard, race fans, to this week's episode of Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Steven Ovens opening up the show with you tonight. Brad Ovens and Clint Miller will be joining us momentarily. We have got, of course, this past weekend, Napa Auto Parts Super Dirt Week 45, the inaugural Super Dirt Week at Oswego Speedway. And we have got coverage from top to bottom for you. Well, at least as many drivers as we had access to anyway. Some rain knocked out the program on Saturday, which created a marathon of racing on Sunday with the Bud Light 200, the Rosselli Northern 100, and then, of course, the Chevy Performance 50 for the Crate Sportsman, and the Pro Stock Series 30-lapper Sunday at the Oswego Speedway. It was a historic weekend. I'm going to start off the show right off the top tonight by letting folks know that are listening tonight. The track was rough. Everybody knows it. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it, especially from people that were not on the property to even witness the racing. There's a whole laundry list of things that, social media-wise, that have just bugged the absolute crap out of me regarding this event. Other than the rough track conditions, I don't know what anybody has anything to complain about. The camping situation, things got a little bit muddy at times, but you know what? We referred to our campsite as Sogland back in the day when it was on the Moody Mile. So we'll get into a whole lot more of that later on. But a gentleman who got a hold of me this afternoon, and I'm really glad that he did, Dan Harpel from the PMN Speedway, reached out to us this afternoon. And we're going to give him some time here right off the top of the show because they've got a big weekend coming up this weekend at PMN, King of the Can weekend, and Dan Harpel joins us on. Dan, appreciate your time tonight.
Hey, it's great to be here. Great to be on with you guys.
Well, man, tell us all about it. Big weekend coming up here at PMN, and as I remember, Dan, I believe this is the event that closes out the season for you guys.
Yeah, this is it. It's the King of the Can weekend, Friday and Saturday. Friday night is we started the Star Series this year between PMN 5 Mile and Skyline, and so this will be the deciding race for the modifieds and on Friday night. So it's a 50-lap Star Series modified feature, also a Star Series event for the factory stocks, a Grit Sportsman race, which is 1,000 to win, 100 to take the green for the Grit Sportsman, and also the four cylinders are running both nights. The first night is not a Star Series race, but it's a 400 to win show with bonuses. The winner will be guaranteed to start no worse than sixth on Saturday night for the Star Series race, and any driver that comes both nights, there'll be a drawing for 3 spots, $50, $35, $50, $30, and $20 on Saturday for any of the drivers that came both nights. So a little extra shot there. We're also going to do a gambler bonus for the modifieds on Friday night. So we get going on Friday. Race time is at 7, and then Saturday we've got the CRSA sprint cars, and then a Star Series sportsman race, crate sportsman again. So the sportsman will be running both nights, and 1,000 to win, 100 to take the green shows, and it'll also be Star Series street stocks. I'm trying to think. The Empire Sport trucks will be there for the first time. The XL 600 mods, and again, it's a Star Series race for the 4-cylinders. So lots of big things coming up this Friday and Saturday at PennCan.
I was going to say, Dan, you got your clipboard ready? Because it sounds like you got a lot of stuff going on this weekend.
Yeah, I've got my laptop in front of me just to remind me.
Oh, there you go. Dan, it's been a while since we've got a chance to touch base with you, and now that we're closing in on the end of the season, give us a little recap of the season at PennCan.
Well, it was a rough year. Friday night tracks, I think, really suffered with the weather this year. We had a beautiful summer, but it seemed to want to rain sometime between 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock on Friday nights, it seemed, all summer. So we lost our first 4 weeks, and we had 8 or 9 rainouts, and we lost our fireworks show a couple of times, which was our biggest event of the year, and also our the Clash at the Can was rained out, and we weren't able to reschedule. So that was a tough deal with all that. But when we did race, we had some great shows, and we had a lot of different winners. We ended up running twin 20s on season championship night to get enough races in for the American Racer Cup deal. So that gave us our 12 races, but we ended up with 8 different winners in the modified. So very competitive, very evenly matched. We had put the modifieds on a 48-44 tire combination this year, a little bit harder than what it's been in the past, and it I think it helped to spread the wealth a little bit. So nobody really was able to dominate, and nobody won more than 2 races. So it was good competition. The track was good all year, and like I said, when we did race, we had some great racing. It's just we had a lot of foul weather.
The tire deal was a question I had on my list to ask you about tonight, Dan, because that was something that we discussed at the trade show up in Syracuse. So I take it the response and obviously the competition level, it seemed like everybody was really on board with that.
Yeah, what happens is nobody likes change, and guys were definitely on board with it. And some of the guys that maybe won a lot of races in the past didn't love it, not going to lie, but guys that hadn't won races and that were winning were pretty happy with it. So, it was a good tire for the track, and it wasn't. We had some guys win from the front row. We had guys win from the back of the pack. So it really, I think it worked out good overall, and that's the tires, for this weekend. And that's what everybody ran last year in the King of the Can when Stuart Friesen won that last year, and then a 50-lap race especially. That's the perfect tire.
And you talk about Stuart Friesen winning last year. This is an event that always draws a real diverse crowd of the modified contingent. So that should really be something to look forward to this weekend.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They come from all over. You never know who you're going to get or what to expect, but it's definitely, they come from a lot of different tracks. I know Friday night at 5 Mile, there's 62 modifieds Friday night, 170 race cars in the pits among 4 divisions. So that was an outstanding field, and there was 45 sportsmen, and so 45 street stock. 4 cylinders, which was amazing. And so yeah, you're right. They come from all over, and sportsmen will be in the Grit Series on Friday, and then Saturday they turn around and run the same rules and same everything under the Star Series. So I've heard from a lot of guys that were happy that we were going to do both nights and give them a chance to get a couple of good paydays.
Yeah, definitely. Now, the other thing I wanted to touch on, we got a couple minutes here, Dan, but the King of the Can, probably one of the more unique trophies in all of dirt racing. Tell us about it.
Well, you get to literally sit on the throne in Victory Lane with your cape and your crown and your toilet plunger as in your hand, and so yeah, you'll sit on a toilet seat in Victory Lane, and I know Stewie got a big kick out of it last year, and I told him, yeah, I just took that out of the ladies' room. It's fresh and ready for you. So, but yeah, that's gives the can a whole nother way to talk about it.
So bring your flash photography to Penn Can this weekend, and let the Facebook memes fly, as they say.
Yep, exactly.
All right, good stuff. Dan, tell us about the website and how folks can find Penn Can Speedway.
Well, all of our the most updated stuff you can find on our Facebook page. Just go to the Penn Can Facebook page. The information sheet with the order of events and pricing and times and all that for both nights is on there, as well as a frequently asked questions section that kind of gives you the rules and whatnot for the weekend, and a little bit about each of the classes. So that's your best bet. Go to the Penn Can Facebook page, because that's something that we update instantaneously. As far as the PennCan.com, there's information on PennCan.com as well, but I don't. I have to send out to have that posted on there, so it's not as up to the minute. So if you want up to the minute details, just go to the Penn Can Facebook page, and everything you need to know is on there. And if not, well, then come on out and find out.
There you go. Well, Dan, I appreciate the time tonight. We were talking earlier this afternoon. There's some other things that we're looking forward to, catching up with you here in the next couple weeks as we get into the off season. But appreciate the time tonight.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on at the short notice, and hopefully everybody comes out and pays us a visit this weekend, and we can wrap up our season on a high note. That would be a nice thing. It's going to be sunny. It's supposed to be sunny all weekend, so come on out, grab your warm coat, and come on out and see a great couple of days of racing.
There you go. Dan Harpel from the Penn Can Speedway. Appreciate his time tonight. We're going to step aside here. When we come back, we'll dive into the Bud Light 200 from Sunday at the Oswego Speedway, all part of Super Dirt Week. You're listening to Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
Max Dairy Bar is a proud supporter of Turn 5 Live from the Performance Motorsports Network. Opened in 1974, Max Dairy Bar has been a Penn Yan, Cayuga Lake, and Yates County staple, serving the best Hershey's hard ice cream. They also have soft serve ice cream, their weekly yogurt special, sorbet flavors, gluten-free options, frozen Greek yogurt, and non-dairy lemon ice. Don't forget about their tricky 18-hole putt-putt course that will test your skill to see if you have what it takes to be a champion. Max Dairy Bar and Mini Golf, located on State Route 14A, just south of the village of Penn Yan, right on the way to Black Rock Speedway on Friday nights. Visit them online at www.maxdairybar.com or Max Dairy Bar on Facebook and Twitter. Stop by Max Dairy Bar and tell them Turn 5 Live sent you. Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ, photo booth, and uplighting company of Turn 5 Live and the Performance Motorsports Network. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are professional and experienced with events of any type. Creekside Entertainment specializes in wedding packages that are affordable and fun, and they are ready to serve you with the most up-to-date music and karaoke selection. If you can sing it in the shower, you can come out and sing it with Creekside Entertainment. And don't forget about the Creekside Entertainment photo booth and uplighting service that will transform your wedding or party into an event the family will be talking about for years. Trust the entertainment company that racers trust. Call Stu at area code 315-481-9700 or visit them online at creeksideentertainmentdj.com. You can also find them on Facebook and Twitter. Creekside Entertainment, division sponsor of the Black Rock Bandits in 2015.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Hi, race fans. This is Dan Harpal from Penn Speedway, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live on PMN.
Well, that worked out well. I can tell you that wasn't planned. I completely forgot that was the first commercial of the show. But welcome back to Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network. As you can hear, Clint Miller, Brad Ovens joining me on the program tonight. And Clint, Super Dirt Week was over the weekend, and Is that
what it was?
Yeah. Did you know Super Dirt Week?
I heard some rumblings about it.
Yeah. Well, like I said in the opening of the show, nobody at all is trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes that the track conditions were not ideal. Nobody is really trying to spin that at all. The track conditions were what they were. And, there's so many factors that went into that. They had 2 weeks to put this surface down. They also, fought with trying to race in the daylight, which on the dirt tracks is so hard to do. And it's so hard to do well. That's the thing. I mean, anybody can race in the daytime, but it's so hard to do it well because the daytime when the sun's beating down on the track and being up on the lake in Oswego, you've got that, almost constant breeze. And I can tell you from shooting a camera there for many years that, it is just sometimes when it is chilly, that wind off the lake is just piercing. And, so they fought with that. So they had a choice to make, Clint. Do we run in the daytime and have it so dusty that the guys can't see and the fans can't see and have a smooth racetrack, or do we work some moisture into it and take a chance that it gets soft and spongy and tears up in spots and peels up a little bit? And, for the sake of the show, I'm glad they made the decision they did. I know there's a lot of guys that were upset about the rough track conditions, but all I'm going to do is point out the three guys that really dominated the race on Sunday. All three of those guys didn't break shock towers. They didn't, bust they didn't go through full speed into a hole that you knew had been in the track all weekend long. And I know it's easy to say as a guy sitting here on the microphone tonight, but all I'm going to point out is the guys that finished well found their way through it. There were lanes to use to not hit the big holes at full speed. And those guys at the end of the day, Clint, were sitting on the front stretch in the top three. We'll go over the top finishers here. We've got Stuart Friesen, who picked up the win. His fifth out of the last 7 tries in the Bud Light 200. And here's another cool stat. Stuart Friesen has competed in 10 of the Super Dirt Week 200 races. He's now won half of them. Just flat incredible numbers. Brett Hearn, a veteran guy, he's just always there. If he doesn't have a problem at the beginning or the middle of the race, Brett Hearn is always sitting in those top 3 spots. And Kerry Terrance just found a way to stay out of trouble and brought the 66X home in the 3rd spot. Matt Shepard had some overheating issues, and this, unfortunately for Shepard, this was after leading 153 laps of the race. And so I know 4th place has got to be awfully disappointing for that team, but they were dominant early, and we've seen him do that at Super Dirt Week. Tim McCready got passed with a slide job by Stuart Friesen, and he comes home in the 5th spot, but 5th doesn't tell the story for Tim McCready. He pitted early, charged back through the field, took the lead from Shepard, and then Friesen came up through, and Friesen just put an awesome slide job to take the lead and eventually the win. So Tim McCready rounded out the top 5. 6 through 10 was Gary Tompkins, Jimmy Phelps, Mike Maresca, Jimmy Horton, and Steve Payne, officially listed in the 10th spot. I was told that he had finished in the 8th spot, but according to Napa Auto Parts Super Dirt Week media here, they have him listed in the 10th spot. We heard from Stuart Friesen after winning the Bud Light 200. Here was his thoughts after winning his 5th Bud Light 200. Stuart Friesen wins his 5th Super Dirt Week finale in the last 7 races. Here's his thoughts post-race.
Oh, man, what a great race team. It's such a demanding and physical week on the guys. The Helmar Racing team, I have great teammates. They just did a great job and made a good adjustment on that pit stop, and took tires. Eric didn't want to take tires. I wanted to take tires, and we came in twice and got it right, and we're able to beat on it there throughout the end of the race.
So about to pass to Tim McCready. You were running up high with him, pretty much running the same line. How did you know that was the time to do it with 6 to go?
Just getting to his bumper there off of 4. I knew if I could get down there and be smooth and slide him in 1 and 2. That was the move. That was about the only way you could do it, and we got him clear and got away there.
Was 1 and 2 going to be the place you were going to have to try and make that move?
I tried it once in 3 and 4 a little bit earlier, a couple laps before, and didn't really stick. So I figured if I get it off him, there was only one way. And man, when you're racing for $50,000, you got to throw him.
That's true. You guys got a question for him or something?
Yes, I'm sure you've answered this about 16 times already, but I guess what was the feeling like when you're coming down the home stretch and you realize that you're about to win this race?
Well, it's just these 200 lappers like this, you never know. On a challenging track like it was today, you never know you got it until you got it. And I was just trying to hit my marks there. I messed up that restart pretty bad and got into the fence a little bit, and just tried to finish it out. And it's an awesome feeling. The race here at Oswego and in front of all these people, it's so cool. It's so cool. I got to thank the Helmar Racing team, everybody that's helped us out, all our great product sponsors. It's a great feeling.
And you said this was a tough course. I mean, we saw there was that crater over there.
Oh yeah.
It's like a bomb went off over there. I mean, what was it like, going on this course? A place that hasn't had dirt in a long time.
No, it was physical. You know what I mean? And just my guys worked very hard yesterday preparing the car and making sure it could do 200 laps. And we put a little hole in the radiator, but nothing that really hurt us. And we made it to the end. So that's all that counts.
I know. I mean, this is the first time this race being here, and obviously a ton of people in the stands. And even with the conditions, what was it like having this race here instead of over at the Moody Mile?
Well, the mile was very special with all that went into it, as far as the aero package and the bodies and stuff. And this was more of a short track race, but man, it was super physical. So it's definitely a team sport, and my guys worked very hard this week to get us where we got to.
Congratulations, Stuart.
There you go, Stuart Friesen, winner of the Bud Light. Well, guys, can you tell the third guy asking questions was from the local media? There was a hole in turn 1. It looked like a bomb went off. It looked like a crater.
Yeah, I was sitting here chuckling when I heard that.
Well, I'll tell you, props to them for being there. There was a nice media presence, not only in motorsports, but local media as well. We heard from Brett Hearn, who finished in the 2nd spot. Had an issue with the header. The header got crushed in late in the race. His car sounded worse than a 4-cylinder car when he pulled into the victory lane area, and he was lucky to finish there. We talked to him about it. Brett Hearn finishes in the 2nd spot. Here's his thoughts post-race.
Couldn't help but notice, Brett, that car didn't sound too healthy when you brought it up here to victory lane.
Broke a header pipe at the end there. We had an unbelievable car right at the start of the race. I mean, I really went up in to catch those guys pretty much with no effort, and then we got a right front flat, and that changed our whole day. But we hung in there, let some attrition happen, and took a shot at the win there right at the end, but didn't quite have enough.
Did that left front flat end up being a blessing? Did that force you to pit a little earlier for fuel?
Well, we really didn't have a solid strategy because we didn't really know how things were going to play out. So it kind of forced us into that strategy, and we stuck with it. It worked out good.
That last restart, I mean, I thought for a second there you might have had them.
I thought I almost cleared both those guys in one sweep there. I hit one really good, and surprised myself.
Trying to avoid the holes today and survive. That was the key today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a lot of cars sideways and crisscrossed and a lot of holes. I mean, it says a lot about the guys that, wrench on this car and give me a car that can stick together for 200 laps under those conditions. It's pretty special.
There's Brett Hearn finishing in the second spot today. Well, there was Brett Hearn who finished in the second spot, and he said it best. And actually, he said this in the post-race press conference. We got to talk to him right in Victory Lane, but he also gave some words later on in the media tent. And there was a challenge, Clint, because the media tent was located on the outside of the racetrack. So for myself, it was kind of you got to pick. Are you going to be in the media tent for the day, or are you going to be in the infield where all the action's happening? And so I walked into their post-race press conference late, but as I walked in, I heard Brett Hearn talking, and he said that, the fact that next year, if they can get the track to hold together just right, and they do 300 laps there, the pit strategy is going to be off the chain. He said it is going to be exciting because guys are going to have to make 2 or 3 pit stops, and that really could shake up the running order. So why don't we step aside here? We've still got to hear from Kerry Tarrance. We'll do that right on the other side of the break here, and then we'll start going through the rest of all that was Super Dirt Week 45 right here on Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network. Your voice for motorsports.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. But every driver seeks the pinnacle of their achievements. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, your authority on motorsports of all types. Be listening for the most accurate and up-to-the-minute coverage of every motorsports activity that you enjoy on a daily basis. Be it NASCAR, be it IRL, be it Formula One, be it drag racing, be it dirt track, off-road, props, hulls, whatever. We are your source for motorsports. Performance Motorsports Network.
Hi, race fans. This is Billy Dunn, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live on PMN.
Billy Dunn brings us back from commercial break, and I'm sure it was a disappointing Super Dirt week for Billy. He had 2 lightning-fast cars, had a mechanical problem. From what I saw, the whole torsion arm was ripped right from the car, Clint, and that had the car sitting heavily on the right rear tire. And I'm sure there's a great mechanical explanation for that. However, this is not the guy to give that to you. But anyway, this you could tell there was a massive issue. with the body sitting right over on that right rear.
Yeah, I saw some photos on. Yeah, you could definitely see that something was broken in the rear end. You couldn't really see it from exactly what it was. It was obviously suspension, but there's so many things back there that it could have been.
Yeah,
it's just tough. And like Brett Hearn said, you really needed to keep it straight. And one mistake in 200 laps, if you get it crossed up, who knows what could happen.
Absolutely. And then in the small block race, he was driving the 9 car, and for RLM Motorsports, and what a disappointing there. He got some dust in his eye during the big block race, and it just wreaked havoc on him for the rest of the day. And I know he was really disappointed, but during the small block race, which ran later in the night, that dust that had gotten into his eye and was just causing a lot of problems was just, it was causing some vision issues and things of that sort. And he ended up pulling the small block car off of the track during a yellow. And we knew there was something wrong, just how slow he come down the pit road. And that's what it ended up being, was an issue with his eye. And, as fast as they were going and as treacherous as some parts of the corners were, you just can't take that kind of chance. And, good for him for understanding that and not, making it a safety issue for him and others out there. So, I got a lot of respect for that. Kerry Terrance finished in the 3rd spot on Sunday in the Bud Light 200. He's another guy that it seems like every time we go to Super Dirt Week, Clint, Kerry Terrance, you hear his name more than once throughout the week, whether it be a good qualifying lap. I believe it was last year he ended up winning a triple 30. So now this year he's on the podium, finishing in the 3rd spot. Here's what Kerry had to say after the race.
Kerry Terrance finishes in the 3rd spot in the Bud Light 200. Here's his comments.
I mean, it was fast, so it was tough to drive around there. But we just hung on to it, tried to keep the race car for the end, and a strategy worked out. Would have liked to try the bottom there at the end on Stewart, but I let Brett get it. But I'd rather finish the race than break the car.
Yeah, so it looked like that last restart was the race.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? We all night, all day, we couldn't turn on the bottom, so I didn't have a chance going down there to try something on Stewie and break the car. So just didn't want to turn on the bottom.
Okay. So what was the strategy and how did it actually play out?
No, we just tried to stay out of the holes all day and just tried to run a clean race and stay out of trouble. And I think we did a good job and car stayed together. Big thanks to all the guys. Thank you.
There's Kerry Terrance finishing in the 3rd spot.
It was fast. It was rough. We just tried to stay out of the holes the whole day and tried to stay clean. And we came in, we made a few adjustments. That was the best thing we did. Instead of just taking gas, we made some turns in the car. It helped a lot.
So 3rd place, Super Dirt Week. Are you pleased with that?
Yeah, we're real happy with that. We finished in 3rd in a small block, but never in a big block. So we're real happy with this. Got to thank the guys for making this car to stay together today. It was a big race, so got to thank them.
Nice job, Kerry.
Thank you.
There's Kerry Terrance finishing up here in the 3rd spot.
Well, there's Kerry Terrance's thoughts after the race, and he said it well. They were thrilled with the 3rd place finish, Clint, because there was a lot of attrition, sure, and the fact is he wanted to race Brett harder and maybe take a shot at Stewie for the win, but at the same time, do you take a chance of breaking the car, or do you finish in the 3rd spot in arguably the biggest modified race of the season? I mean, I'm on board with his thought process.
Yeah, well, I don't think that there's a wrong answer there. I think that, like, for his sake, he's never done that well there in a modified. He's had some success, like you said, in the triple 30. But, to finish 3rd on a big grand stage like that, he's got nothing to hang his head about. He did just exactly what he wanted to do. He finished good. He had a great Super Dirt Week, and if it was right, he would have done it. And it just doesn't seem to me like he's the type of guy that's not going to put it in the wrong spot. And his interview there, it definitely showed that's the case.
That's for sure. The other driver that we mentioned earlier, Steve Payne. 2016 Outlaw Speedway champion, was also the 2015 champion when it was known as Black Rock Speedway. He came home in the 10th place. I'll tell you, what an impressive week for him. Qualified 14th fastest in time trials. Ended up starting in the 22nd position at the green flag after his triple 30 finish, and drove from 22nd to 6th early in the event. And didn't, it wasn't because of guys falling out or guys making pit stops. They drove their way from 22nd to 6th. Then because of pit stops, they were as high as the 3rd spot. And Clint, I'll be honest with you, I was shocked. I thought Steve was going to, based on the track conditions, and this was a conversation I had with him Friday. I said, all right, Steve, now we know you're in the show, but with the track, what do you do on Sunday? And he said, you know what, Steve, I don't want to tear this race car up, to be perfectly honest with you. So we may just take a couple laps and pull it in. Well, when they got back home to Waterloo, they replaced all the bars, everything that they thought needed to be replaced, and they came loaded for bear on Sunday. And he broke a right rear shock, and as the event wore on, it actually ripped the shock tower right off the car. But had he had all 4 shocks on Sunday, it would have been really interesting to see what Steve Payne could have done. I talked to him in his trailer right after the race, and here was the Hurricanes' thoughts on finishing in the 10th spot.
Going to chat with Steve Payne post-race in the Bud Light 200. Steve, you made it to the end. I know there's a lot of guys out there, broken shock towers, snapped rear ends right in half. One guy I saw even broke the frame out there, but here this 7X sits 8th in the final running.
We spit the guts out of the right rear shock early, and then towards the end it broke the shock tower completely off the right rear of the car. Other than that, I think we were really good. If we had 4 shocks on the car, we were really good early. We went from 22nd on our own. I think we went from 22nd to 6th, and then a couple guys pitted, and I was more than happy with it.
I was going to say, that had to have felt good, that charge early on in the race.
Yeah, the car was really good. We changed a bunch of changed everything last night to come here expecting it to be rough, and it was, and it drove really good, but then it just bounced a lot because we had only had 3 shocks on the car. So, but it was good, and them races you just don't want to wear everything out and then not finish. So yeah, we made it to the end and got a couple dollars to cover the stuff we wore out, and ruined,
and ended up with a pretty good day here in 8th. Was there, knowing the track was going to be rough today, was there any thought of just taking some laps and bringing her in? I feel like that's what we talked about Friday, but once you were up to 8th, 6th, around in that spot, then you guys just kept chugging along.
Yeah, there's 2 choices. You either got to come here and quit early, really early, or once you're committed into 30, 40 laps, then you kind of got to run the whole thing. And we decided yesterday to change the car all around and come here. And if it drove forward, we were going to stay out, and it drove forward really good, so we stayed out.
Well, good run today. I know there was a lot of folks back home with the local folks that were proud to see your effort today.
Thank you.
All right, Steve Payne comes home in 8th here in the Bud Light 200.
Well, Clint Miller, thoughts on Steve Payne's comments there?
Well, it's interesting that because last year he won the Win and You're In race at Rolling Wheels, went to Syracuse, and I know it's a totally different ball game. Went to Syracuse, took his couple laps, and took his start and park money and had a great day, made some money at Syracuse. I think that everybody was curious, even though they knew the track was going to be rough. Everybody wanted to see how it was going to play out, and I think that knowing Steve and how fast he was, and knew he was competitive. When they made the decision Saturday to all right, we're going to go through the car, we're going to try to win this thing. They made the right choice, and it just goes to show you that Hurricane is still one of the top guys. Even though he doesn't race like he used to, he's still a smart man, and he's tough to beat.
Absolutely. Brad, you were shooting photos in the infield on Sunday. Any parting thoughts of the Hurricanes' efforts this weekend?
That was cool. I mean, to say the least, to watch Steve Payne come up through there, and like you said, he wasn't making his way through the field because guys were dropping out. He was making passes, and I think there was a couple of times we talked about it on throughout the day of here comes Payne, and next thing you know, he's top 5, and it was really cool to watch him.
Yeah, it was, and I think this is a great example, guys, of that whole concept we talked about last Tuesday night. It doesn't take a special car. It doesn't take a particular engine just to go compete at Super Dirt Week. Steve Payne took his weekly old reliable car. I think they did put some fresh body panels on it, or at least fresh graphics anyway. I know folks were reacting when we shared that picture on the Turn 5 Live Facebook page. But that was a perfect example. It's not going to require that, car that gets put in the mothballs after Super Dirt Week is over. Certainly there's guys that may or may not do that, but it doesn't require that just to participate at Super Dirt Week anymore. And I think Steve was a great example of that this weekend. And let's be honest, guys, it was awesome to see one of our local guys go up there and be competitive at Super Dirt Week. I mean, Steve doesn't run the series anymore, and it was just, honestly, to see our local track champion go up there and be competitive at the Dirt Modified's biggest race of the year, that was pretty cool. So we're going to step aside here. When we come back, we've got a lot more from Super Dirt Week. We'll talk about the Sportsman winners, the Pro Stock winner, as well as the Futures winners, which saw Mad Max McLaughlin pick up a win, as well as Joey Ladesseur, and there's a great story there. We'll tell that story next here on Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
So when you get to the corner of Smith and Orchard, you're going to want to take a
You
left.
are not going to
then
believe
what you're
this.
going to do is turn
Marcy
into
and
Marcy
Brad just
Avenue
broke up,
and go past
and
the
apparently
first 3
she's
lights,
happy
and
about
then take
it.
the next left.
I don't really
Then
think
drive
she's
5 more
happy,
blocks,
but
and you should be
who am
there.
I to judge, right?
Park
anyway,
on the right.
That's
I'll
what
see
I
you
heard
later
last
tonight.
night.
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ, photo booth, and uplighting company of Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are professional and experienced with events of any type. Creekside Entertainment specializes in wedding packages that are affordable and fun, and they are ready to serve you with the most up-to-date music and karaoke selection. If you can sing it in the shower, you can come out and sing it with Creekside Entertainment. And don't forget about the Creekside Entertainment photo booth and uplighting service that will transform your wedding or party into an event the family will be talking about for years. Trust the entertainment company that racers trust. Call Stu at area code 315-481-9700 or visit them online at creeksideentertainmentdj.com. You can also find them on Facebook and Twitter. Creekside Entertainment, division sponsor of the Black Rock Bandits in 2015.
Hi, race fans. This is the voice, Shane Andrews of the Big Block Modified Super Dirt Car Series, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live on PMN.
Welcome back, race fans, to Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Stephen Ovens, Clint Miller, Brad Ovens joining you on the program tonight. We gave a new nickname earlier today to Clint, but I'll keep it off the air. I'll keep it off the air. We'll keep it off the air. It's clean, but we'll still keep it off the air. So
can we just call him Ant for short?
No, you can't.
Oh boy. Well, as long as he hasn't wrecked any safety trucks in a while, I think you're good, Clint. I think you're good.
Yeah, I'm not touching a safety truck. No way.
All right. Well, let's get right back into the results here. There was a lot more than the big box, of course, on Sunday, as we saw 4 divisions compete in what turned into being a marathon kind of day. And, Mother Nature on Saturday did not do us any favors because, Super Dirt Week, as always, there's a lot of action. There's a lot of things going on. And so the Rosselli Northern Salute to the Troops 100. And actually, you know what? Before I even get to the small block race, we're actually going to talk about the Futures race. I want to get to those guys before I even get to the small block race, because we'll start with the big block Futures race, guys. And this was exciting. Max McLaughlin, who, he's really had an up and down season. This was a really good learning year for Max in the big block modified. Now, I was told at Super Dirt Week, and I don't know if this has actually been announced yet or not, but I was told over the weekend that Max will be in the big blocks next season. So that was good news. But he went out and proved himself this weekend as he picked up the win in the big block Futures race. And we talked to him right after he jumped out of the car and talked to the folks from Dirt Vision. We got a hold of him right after that, and here's what Mad Max had to say. Max McLaughlin picks up the win in the big block Futures race here at the Oswego Speedway. Happy faces and handshakes all around. We're going to talk to him.
Pretty awesome. I had my doubts about this track. Everybody did, but the people at the Super Dirt Week have done an amazing job with this racetrack. I'm really proud of all these guys and what they've done. Besides the fact HBR gave me a great car tonight, it was awesome to get the win here, man. First win in a big block. Feels like it's been a long time coming, but it's pretty cool to end up in victory lane at Oswego.
And also at a track where your dad has won a couple of times.
Yeah, Dad's won here a couple of times, and get the win where he is. It's pretty awesome for sure.
That was probably a story a lot of folks were talking about coming into this weekend. What's it mean for you to be able to pull that off here in the Futures race?
Oh, it's awesome, man. I can't believe it myself. I'm ecstatic right now. It's been a pretty stressful year. I've had a great car behind me all year, and we should have had a couple wins by now. We lost a big race by 0.04 of a second to Larry White earlier in the year, and then hit a Uke tire leading with 4 to go at Brewerton. So, everybody remembers those ones. So, finally get back in victory lane, it feels great.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Max McLaughlin wins the big block Futures race here as we get ready to continue on with Friday Night Lights, presented by Camping World. Well, that was big. I think that really showed on Friday night Max's potential. He's still learning these cars. He's still learning the setups. I mean, yes, he's got a great team and great teammates to work with, but Clint, we know, having good notes and good setups are only as good as what you feel, in between the sides of the seat. And, he's just going to need some more time. He's going to need some more laps. And, like I said, Friday night showed his potential. I'm excited to see what he can do in another year in those cars. So another good story on Friday. And how about this one? This is a good story right here. Joey Ladouceur wins the small block Futures race, and boy, did they have a day on Friday. They got into the wall and wrecked the car at Brewerton on Thursday night, and until they got it back and got it tore apart, didn't realize, but they needed a new front clip on that car. And so 7:45 in the morning on Friday, Ladouceur's got his car over at the Bicknell Racing Products tent, and they put a fresh clip on the front end of that car in about 2 hours, and
He went out Friday night and had no practice on the car. The first laps he had on the track with this fresh front clip was the 2 timed hot laps that determined the starting order for the Futures race. Joey Ladouceur goes out and picks up the win. Had no practice time on this car after putting the fresh front clip on it. Just a great, great story. Here's what Joey had to say after picking up the checkered flag.
Joey Ladouceur picks up the win in the small block Futures race. We're going to hear from now here in Victory Lane.
Up front, how close was it? Did you know you won at the line?
Well, I didn't know how it was. I just when you're in the car, you always think you got it right. So I mean, no, I was a little disappointed. I kind of got a little conservative at the end. I didn't think I was giving up that much ground, and my spotter told me when coming to the white 5 car lengths, he must have really sailed it on in there because he caught me completely off guard.
He went flying around the outside of 2.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, good for him. I mean, he's a good shoe. He's got some big block stuff going on, so it's all good.
Now, I heard you actually wrecked the car this morning, had to front clip it from the firewall at Bicknell's.
Yeah, we got in the wall in the heat race yesterday at Brewerton, and 7:45 a.m. Bob Slack and Randy Williamson met me at their tent, and we installed a brand new clip in this thing right from the firewall forward. So I mean, it's just insane. I can't thank them enough for what they did for me today.
After putting the front clip on, how much time on the track did you have before this race?
That's it, green, white, checker qualifying. So that's hats off to them and my guys. Everyone, we'll probably sleep a little better tonight. Last night wasn't so cool.
So how's this ranked then? This has got to feel really good.
Oh, this is, I mean, in a 358 modified, I've never won a feature yet. So for me, this is huge. And, it's just what they did with the track in the last 3 hours is just unbelievable. And like I said, if you ask me, I think we should be racing, just do all the racing under the lights and have satellite shows somewhere else during the day or something.
Congratulations, Joe. I'm happy for you.
Thank you very much.
Joey Ladouceur, first 358 win after chopped, cutting, and rebuilding the car this morning at Bicknell Racing Products.
So how about that, Clint? I mean, what a comeback story for that team. That is not an interesting, or that's not an easy feat to come by. Put that whole car back together at the Bicknell tent at 7:45, and then pick up a checkered flag not even 12 hours later.
Yeah, that's really impressive, and obviously, Bicknell's is not their first rodeo. When you do that and do it as often as they do, they're spot on. And to hear that was his first win, if I did hear that right, correct?
That was. I'm not sure there, Clint.
Yeah, I thought that's what he said about that was his first win in the 358 or hadn't won in the 358 before.
Oh yes. Since moving up from you're right. Since moving up from the division, yes, it was. So that was something to duly be excited about for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And
that's just awesome.
It was a neat little story, without a doubt. And so looking at some of the other divisions that competed this weekend, of course, the Rosselli Northern Salute to the Troops 100. This was shortened down from 150 laps to 100 laps. And Tim Fuller led it wire to wire with that W16 engine, which we talked about last week. How good would these guys be? And we talked about that with Billy Dunn, and boy, did they prove how good they were. They swept pole qualifying. They swept the Twin 25s, and then Tim Fuller led every single lap of the small block race. And, what was impressive to me, guys, was the fact, and Brad, I'll bring you in on this. Brad, what was impressive to me was not that they won it, not that they swept qualifying on a dry, slick surface. It was Friday night when they were passing cars on the heavy, wet surface. They had some more moisture built into it. When Fuller made a pass of Brett Hearn in traffic, that really showed me that, this motor is not going to be just good on the dry slick. They've got a great setup for both surfaces.
Yeah, definitely. I think that just comes down to having a really balanced car. to have a car that can go from running good on the heavy stuff, and then when the track dries out or slicks off or rubbers up, being able to make that transition really well. And like you said, obviously that motor's proving itself that, it's not just going to be a heavy track motor. It's not going to be a slick track motor. It'll cover it all, and it does it well.
Yeah, that's for sure. Fuller picked up the win. Stuart Friesen finished second. Friesen really gave him everything he had at the end, driving the Atlas Paving 66, but Friesen just couldn't get by. Mark Johnson finished in the third spot. Gary Lindbergh finished in the fourth spot. That's a great run for a name that we don't call here on the program very much. Mike Maresca finished in the fifth spot. Ronnie Johnson was sixth. Alan Johnson in the 14J was seventh. Danny Johnson finished in the eighth spot. David Hebert finished ninth, and Brett Haas rounded out the top 10 finishers in the small blocks. Moving on to the sportsman modifieds, and it was Dave Marchicelli who picked up the win. He would get the win over Greg Martin. Rocky Warner finished third, and I really thought Rocky had an opportunity to nail this race down. He got the lead away from Marchicelli and started to pull away a little bit, but late in the race, guys, he had some issues with the throttle sticking. And, when Marchicelli got by for the lead, it was because Warner had, nearly stuffed the car in the turn 2 fence. And we all thought, gosh, that was weird. You don't see Rocky Warner make a mistake like that very often. And it didn't look like he had really hit a rut to send him out that way. Well, we found out afterwards that he was having all sorts of issues with the throttle sticking on him. So it was just incredible that he was able to bring that car home in the third spot. Tyler Meeks finished fourth, but as I understand, there was a tech issue there, and I imagine we'll be hearing more about that from Dirt Car in the coming days and maybe weeks as they determine what they're going to do there. Alex LaJoy finished in the fifth spot. Adam McAuliffe was in the sixth spot. John Soule, seventh. Adam Pearson, eighth. Chris Burke, ninth. And Jeremy Pitts rounded out the top 10. And then moving on to the Pro Stocks on Sunday night, their 30-lap championship, Rob Yetman, 4 Super Dirt Week wins in a row. And this guy is just magic when it comes to Super Dirt Week. He won the last 3 in a row on the mile, and now he's opened up Super Dirt Week at Oswego Speedway with a win. He got the win over Nick Stone, and what a performance for Nick Stone, as Stone started in the 26th spot. He came all the way from the Consi to finish second on Sunday night. Jim Normile was third, Robbie Speed fourth, Pete Stefanski, former competitor at the Canandaigua Motorsports Park, rounded out the top 5. Then it was Kenneth Martin Jr., Jocelyn Roy, Jason Meltz, Mike White, and Gus Holner, rounding out your top 10 finishers for the Pro Stock 30 Championship Sunday night at Super Dirt Week. We're going to step aside here. When we come back, we'll take you back to Camping World Friday Night Lights as we had all of the qualifying events for the big blocks and the small blocks. We're going to hear from the winners of each of those triple 30s and twin 25s coming up next here on Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin' Street? Girlin' Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives and so should you.
Motorsports Sales Professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Hi, race fans. This is Otto Sitterly, driver of the Nicotra Racing number 7, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live on PMN.
Oh, Otto Sitterly bringing us back from commercial break, and boy, that was a driver that did not have any good luck this weekend at Super Dirt Week, as they got upside down in a big, big way on Friday night. During Friday Night Lights, the car, just kind of veered into the wall, and it was real easy for guys to overcook the corner. And we saw a couple of guys. He was one, and Adam Roberts was another one, that once they got into the fence, they got airborne, and then it was all over from there, Clint. Up and over they went, and a lot of damage to Otto Sitterly's number 7 car. He was driving for the Team Tap Out that's races not only on dirt but on asphalt at Oswego as well. And just a disappointing effort for them. Somebody that was in the infield during Friday Night Lights, or actually saw the car afterwards, in the pit area, said the only straight piece, at least on the body panels anyway, was the hood scoop. And anytime you can say that, that's really saying something about damage you're working with there. But so a tough break for those guys, but let's get right back into it, into our Friday Night Lights coverage, and we'll start with the big blocks, as it was Danny Varon who picked up the win in Triple 30 number 1. And the interesting story about Danny Varon was that afterwards we got to looking at the right rear tire, and they had chunked the tire pretty well. And so we kind of got to talk with him a little bit about what that possibly could be, and it was nice that Danny took a little extra time. I mean, we were there in the infield. We certainly weren't going anywhere anytime soon with all the racing that was left to do, but it was kind of nice standing there talking to him and learning a little bit more about what causes a tire to do that, and a lot of it comes down to the siping, how much you do, how little you do, how much heat that tire builds up, because the other two guys that won Triple 30s didn't have chunks out of the tire. So it was interesting having that conversation with him. But let's hear from Danny Varon after picking up Triple 30 number 1. Danny Varon wins Triple 30 number 1 here at Oswego.
No, it just looked like it was rough. I don't know if he just wanted to pull off or something. We were sticking right with him there and debating what we had to do on that restart to get around him. But he decided to pull off. But
broken right rear shock it was.
Oh yeah, well I tell you what, he was. I told these guys, I said I was better through the rough stuff, but that could, if you had a broken right rear shock, that tells you exactly what happened.
So going through that rough stuff, we got to really go through this thing then before Sunday, then, don't we?
Yeah, I think I got to buy some Zeus buttons. They are falling out everywhere. No, yeah, we've been going through this thing all week. It's been a lot of hard work, and I tell you, Ed Munger from Mags R Us and Pete Northrup, all they do is work, and all I got to do is keep them fed and and a couple of beers at the end of the night.
There you go. Don't put a bowl of food out or something, do we?
No, the women, the women make it. I just hand it over to them. So,
there you go.
But these guys done a really great job.
I know they're going to look at a lot of different areas on the racetrack for, improvements to smooth it out. What's one area of the track that you think would really need some attention as far as smoothing it out?
As far as I'm concerned, you got turn 1, you got turn 4, and then the whole entire backstretch. It is extremely rough, and these cars are not built to withstand that for 30 laps is fine. 300, I don't know, but I'm not a track professional or nothing, but they're trying to work with it, but doesn't seem to what they're doing is working. I'm not down on them guys, but it just doesn't seem to be getting any better.
You gotta make a real bold move on the bottom of turn 1.
What was that again?
You gotta make a real bold move if you want to run the bottom of 1.
Yeah, I really think that's where our game changer was. I could actually go right through that and stick it pretty decent and then exit a little higher. Come race day, everything we just did tonight is not going to even reflect what we have to do race day. We got to miss every route out there, and we need to make this thing go the distance. Nobody remembers who wins these. They just remember who wins the big one.
All right, there you go.
You're concerned about the fact you bumped some water, you chunked the right rear.
Neither. I think that motor's not going to run hot, and we're going to be so easy on tires come race day. I'm not going to be spending them. So
good job, man.
Thank you, Doug.
Danny Barron wins Triple 30 #1 here at Oswego. So there you have Danny Barron's thoughts. Unfortunately, the weekend wouldn't go so well, the rest of the weekend on Sunday anyway, as they were ones that they had so much damage to the car in the 200. It actually broke the frame, from what I was told. And if you've not seen the picture that's circulated Facebook, Jay Fish, I'll tell you what a photographer that gentleman is. He has got a great shot of Danny Barron trying to run the bottom where there was a pretty big hole down there, but a lot of guys were trying to drive through it. Well, he tried to drive through it and got all 4 tires off the ground. So keep an eye on social media. I'm sure you'll see that be bopping around. But Danny Barron was the winner of Triple 30 #1. The winner of Triple 30 #2 was Stuart Friesen. No motor issues, no tire issues for the driver of the Halmar International 44. Here was Stu's thoughts after picking up that win. Stuart Friesen wins Triple 30 #2 in the Halmar International 44. We're going to talk to him here. Get a couple of words.
So it's just like we've been hearing then.
It's fun in 3
Moonlighting Camping World Truck Series driver, Stuart Friesen. That's got a nice ring to it. Wins the second of the Triple 30s here. How was it out there, Stewie?
It was a lot of, it's challenging. The track's, a little bit rough, it's breaking apart in spots, but, there's a couple different lanes that pick your way through it. So, up against the fence in 3 and 4 is pretty cool. And, the best thing about a pavement track is when they put dirt on it. So it's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, I heard the backstretch is a little rough, and obviously we can see what's going on in turn 1.
Yeah, definitely. It's but like I said, it's the same for everybody. I know everybody's working very hard, to put on this event. It's got the dirt week atmosphere. Everything's cool. We're having a lot of fun. We'll just work hard and try to keep it together for 300 laps on Sunday.
Has been any surprises for you up to this point?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of felt like the track raced smaller than really what it looks the other day, and now that the groove is widened back out, it's racing more like a big half, 5/8 track. So it's pretty cool. The corners are very long, and you can move the car around and make some stuff happen. So it's a lot of fun.
learn anything today we might be able to use on Sunday, or with the rain and everything else, is today almost a throwaway?
Well, it's very slippery in some spots. There's some bite in other spots, and I think that'll be the name of the game for the first 100 laps is pick the brown spots and where you get the most bite. But it's hard. It seems like today was different than yesterday, and that was different from Wednesday. So we'll see what we can do.
Congratulations, nice job.
All right, thank you.
Stuart Friesen wins triple 30 number 2. So there you have Stuart Friesen's thoughts as it was a uh-oh. Somebody doesn't like Stuart Friesen, so why don't we hear now from Justin Hares, who won triple 30 number 3, and we'll we know that Clint's not a real big fan of Stuart Friesen, so we'll move on to Justin Hares. Justin Hares picks up the win in triple 30 number 3. We'll talk to him here post-race and get his thoughts after 30 laps here around the 5/8 mile at the Oswego Speedway.
The right rear didn't like he even touched it.
No, we don't know, hardly no tire. I thought we don't keep those. We got, we don't. I mean, I don't think anybody's got much tire wear at all. It's which is good because it's not costing you a lot of money to put tires on the car. Yeah. So, but they got to work on the track a little bit, and I know they're busting their butt the best they can, but. 300 laps. Yeah. I don't know if there'll be any cars left at all. If they can get it smooth, this place is going to be really fun to race on. I mean, it's really, really fun to race on. And like I said, if you're better than the guys in front of you, you just can drive by them. And we just got to get rid of, like I said, some of the rough spots. But they're doing the best they can. I mean, I can't. They've been busting their butts out here for 3 weeks, and it's just keep on doing it. Maybe we can get it right for Sunday.
Well, you caught the traffic just right, able to run a lot of laps at the end by yourself. What did you learn about the track with all that time? And by the way, you stretched the lead out an additional 4 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I could maneuver around those lap cars really good. I was just kind of waiting. I didn't want to run through the holes, and a couple times I hit this hole down a 1, and
I saw you get airborne once.
There's probably a picture of me with the front wheels off the ground, so I didn't want to do that too many times. But like I said, we just tried to take care of the car for 30 laps, and so we don't have to replace a bunch of stuff on it. But like I said, we're really happy. We got a good race car since yesterday, and like I said, this is just awesome feeling.
You said you took it. How aggressive were you with the car being out front?
Well, it's nice having radios here because they just told me 8 lead, 9 lead, 10 lead. Next thing you know, a straightaway, more than a straightaway with 3 lap cars in between. When you hear that, your driving style just changes completely. You start pedaling and you just start taking care of all your stuff, and that's really what we did. And I was hoping we didn't have a yellow because I don't want to run hard for a few laps. But like I said, we had a really good race car. We're looking forward to Sunday.
I don't know if you guys asked this already, but obviously that racetrack presented a real challenge to you. So how did you go about dealing with that?
Well, I paid a lot of attention to the couple heat races before me, and I watched the small block heat races, and it's like you're in school because you're studying where these guys are running and where they're getting good lines and where they're getting good momentum. And we just try to drive around the holes, and if we had to go through them, we went through them straight and try not to bottom out the car. And you can only do so much. I mean, but I tried to do my part the best I could.
New venue, a lot of different things. Does it still feel like Super Dirt Week?
It does, but Super Dirt Week is Super Dirt Week. Syracuse is Syracuse. This is Oswego. I believe we need to be racing at night here. I mean, the daytime stuff is going to be really tough, and it's just going to be a little bit of a learning experience. I mean, the venue is great. I mean, the whole backstretch was packed tonight. You know what I mean? Yeah. If they could have got it done a little earlier, the people probably would have stuck around. But all in all, I'm happy.
Congratulations. Thank you.
All right, Justin Hares, winner of triple 30 number 3, as we wrap it up here at Oswego. He's picked up triple 30 number 3, and so that wrapped up all the qualifying effort there for the big blocks. We also heard from Tim Fuller and Billy Dunn after they picked up wins in the small block qualifiers. But I think Brad, what we'll do is we'll come back from break and we'll talk about the small block drivers. So let's toss it off to a break here. When we come back, we'll talk to all the small block drivers, Tim Fuller, Billy Dunn, who picked up wins there in the Twin 25s. You're listening to Turn 5 Live
on the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
Every 30 minutes, another innocent person is killed due to a drunk driver.
My best friend, my brother, my poor grandchild,
my sister,
my father, my husband, my mom, my mommy.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you.
Stop these tragedies before they happen. Don't drink and drive.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ, photo booth, and uplighting company of Turn 5 Live and the Performance Motorsports Network. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are professional and experienced with events of any type. Creekside Entertainment specializes in wedding packages that are affordable and fun, and they are ready to serve you with the most up-to-date music and karaoke selection. If you can sing it in the shower, you can come out and sing it with Creekside Entertainment. And don't forget about the Creekside Entertainment photo booth and uplighting service that will transform your wedding or party into an event the family will be talking about for years. Trust the entertainment company that racers trust. Call Stu at area code 315-481-9700 or visit them online at creeksideentertainmentdj.com. You can also find them on Facebook and Twitter. Creekside Entertainment, division sponsor of the Black Rock Bandits in 2015.
Hi, race fans. This is Chuck Hebing, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live on PMN.
Welcome back, race fans, to Turn 5 Live. The Cobra bringing us back from commercial break, and I believe it was Friday at Super Dirt Week. I saw the Cobra pulling that beautiful motorhome into the camping area and backing it into their spot. So good to see all those folks. Saw Lil Cobra earlier in the day, so hope they enjoyed their Super Dirt Week. But we are here talking Super Dirt Week with you folks, and we're going to get to a few other folks that had some success on the track this weekend. And we'll start off with Tim Fuller, who picked up the big win on Friday night in Twin 25 number 1 for the 358 Modified Series, running that W16 engine for the Slack Racing team. Here were Tim Fuller's thoughts. We got him before he even climbed out of the car, doing an interview right in the seat of the race car. Here's Tim Fuller.
Tim Fuller wins 358 modified Twin 25 number 1.
Yeah, I tell you, this thing was good. It was incredible. And, I stalked him there, and I knew I had a better car than he did, but passing was kind of limited with the holes and stuff that were out there. And, we got into lap traffic. I saw an opening, and I got it.
There you go. I was wondering when you were chasing him if this W16 motor was enough, is it?
I think the car handles so good it makes up for it.
All right. How good is this to start the weekend like this?
Yeah, great, isn't it?
Nice job, Tim.
All right, thank you.
Tim Fuller wins Twin 25 number 1 here at Friday Night Lights.
So when he was asked that question, how's this to start off your weekend with this car? Tim just had a big smile. He said, "Man, this is great." And of course, at that point, Twin 25 number 2 comes roaring down the front straightaway, and you couldn't really hear that last answer. But I'll tell you, it was awesome being in there in person. He just had that big smile because he knew on Friday night how fast that car was. He went ahead and proved it again on Sunday, leading every lap of the small block race. There, the Rosselli Northern 100. Winner of Twin 20. Go ahead,
Steve,
Clint.
I was talking to, I think it was probably you guys and maybe Jared and those guys. Now, he time trialed with that small block. It would have put him in the top 5 with the big blocks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, as the day went on, the track got much slower, and so actually there was the small block time, but there was also a sportsman time. The pole time for Dave Marchicelli in the M1 would have also put him far up into the field with the big blocks. That's how much the track slowed down from the first cars. Matt Shepard was, I believe, the second car. Justin Harris was the first car on track. Then I believe it was Shepard. And they were the 2 top times for the longest time. How Tim McCready got up into the second spot, because he wasn't right in that that very first group to touch the track. How he got up into second, what a great piece of driving by him, because he wasn't immediately in that first group. But Hares and Shepard were up front for quite a while in time trials. But, the track slowed down tremendously. And that's the thing about having a smooth, dry, slick track is it slows the track down, and it really puts the race into the driver's hands. But at the same token, when you're running and the sun is beating down on the track, it just got to a point where it was just way too dusty for safety for the drivers. And, so that they had to do something differently. It would have been nice to see, could we get the dry slick at nighttime? And we'll talk about this before we get off the air tonight, guys. But I really think Super Dirt Week 2017, they've got to take a long, hard look at running these races at night, because Friday Night Lights was a hit. Yes, the track was soft and spongy and rough in some places, but when the sun is beating down on that track, the wind being right on the lake, it is going to create some very, very challenging conditions just from a dust perspective. So I really think they need to take a good long look at running these races at night. Now, if they do that, boy, is that going to you would have to completely overhaul Super Dirt Week, because running at night would potentially affect the satellite shows. And, of course, they've always been a part of Super Dirt Week, but, Clint, Super Dirt Week is about the Super Dirt Week events at the track where Super Dirt Week is versus these satellite shows that are extra.
Well, I'll comment now because I won't be around when you guys talk about it at the end. Joey Ladouceur said it best when he said that he thinks that the satellite shows maybe should be moved and everything should be run at night. And I know we talked about that over the weekend, that the racetrack just seemed to be a totally different animal at night, with the lack of dust and the great racing that it was. And it's a new era. Maybe it is time for a change, Steve. I think that they got the first one under their belts, and now they can go from there. And I hope that they saw what everybody else did, that so much day racing did not help that track at all. And I think to make it even bigger and better in the future, that they can really look at that and say, you know what? We got to talk with Brewerton. We got to talk with Fulton. Maybe move those tracks a week up, ahead of time, so that they don't compete or as a satellite show, and then Super Dirt Week can be just Super Dirt Week again.
Yeah, I think they definitely need to to take a look at that, because I think the racing will be better, the fans will enjoy it, and the fans will be able to see it, more importantly, so as well as the drivers. So there's that. So we also talked to Billy Dunn, who won Twin 25 number 2. Here's Billy Dunn's thoughts driving the 9 car to victory lane. Billy Dunn was the winner of Twin 25 number 2. We're going to get a word with him here in victory lane, hearing about how this number 9 car did.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that tonight was just a product of track position. Also a product of 2 really good big now race cars with Integra racing shocks, and these W16s are no slouch either.
A lot of people I was talking to them, they said, yeah, those things will be good during the day, but maybe not at night. Were you wondering yourself?
Like I said, I didn't know exactly how good they'd be under these conditions, but it did get pretty slick in the middle of the corner, and they're just such a drivable motor. Tim proved in the first one that you could pass if you had to.
Yes.
Luckily, I didn't have to, but this thing it handled great. It's you got a little bit of everything out there. It's rough, tacky, slick in the middle of the corner, so just had a real drivable race car.
Said you could drive with this engine. What do you mean by that?
It's just a real drivable motor. It's not something you're going to spin the tires when you get in the black, but it's got just enough when you get in the brown to get you off the corner.
How about as far as momentum goes, the importance of keeping the momentum up with it?
It's real important. It seems to be a motor that's the bigger the track, the better it goes. We ran Brewerton Weedsport with it, and we were good, but it definitely it shows what it's got here.
How racy is the racetrack? I was talking to some folks. They say it's pretty fun out there.
It's pretty hairy, but it's real racy. I don't know if we can do that for 150 or 300 laps. It's going to be a battle of who can stay out of trouble and keep their car on the racetrack. But it's a huge improvement from 4 or 5 hours ago. So every time they work it, they seem to get a little bit better, and we'll see what they do for tomorrow.
Congratulations, Billy.
Thank you.
Is the bottom of one the most hairiest parts right now?
I never really got to the bottom one. Bottom 2 is okay. The outside of the backstretch is real bad. Off 4 is real bad. But it's still a whole lot better of a racetrack than I think everybody thought we were going to have coming here. So we'll work with it.
All right. Billy Dunn wins Twin 25 number 2 for the 358 Modifieds. Pretty telling piece there from Billy Dunn. Talking about the racetrack and talking about that engine, Clint. Does what he's had to say about that, I thought, was a really great description and kind of expanded on what we were talking about here.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's just it's a product of what they had, and they made the best of what they had, and they did well with it. And I just there's really not much we need to talk about it with me, because my feelings on it, and everybody's going to come back. They know what they had. They tried their best, and everybody will be back next year. I know it.
Did you follow Billy when he was talking about the fact that it was a real drivable engine, that it would go in the slick, but it would also, you wouldn't lose all your momentum in the slick, but it also had the power when you needed it, when you found the brown spots? Yeah, and I think that's what they wanted to accomplish with this motor. It's a real level motor. It's probably cammed really well, and it's designed kind of to do everything. And I think that's why their times were so good compared to the modifieds, because they might not have been as fast on the straightaway, but they would hook up through the corners better. And I think the corner speed is what made them a much faster and much more competitive motor. In your opinion, is this similar to when, we talk about, slick tracks, when you've got a choice of either going big block or small block? Is that kind of the same conversation here? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it is. Danny Johnson proved it at Weedsport. If he hadn't lost his momentum, he was going to win that race that Shepard won. It's just, I just think that the way that the small blocks are torqued, they're just able to get through the slick a little better. And I think, Steve, and correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, you're the big Danny Johnson fan. He had a lot of success at Canandaigua running the small block, if I'm correct. He ran well with it there. Yeah. I mean, but it was the same deal as Weedsport is he had to really keep that that car wound up on the bottom.
Yep.
Otherwise it was not going to be the motor to choose. But a lot of times some of these guys like Danny, if they've got big blocks in the shop being tended to, you race what you've got to work with.
That's right. That's right.
And that doesn't just go for a team like Danny's. That's any racers out there. You go with what you've got. So, well, we'll talk about the Hurricane 100. We got to go out and heard from the top 5 there. And then Brad and I are going to wrap up the show. Clint, have yourself a great night at work, brother.
Hey, thanks, guys. Sorry about the comic relief tonight.
Clint bagging on Stuart Friesen tonight. But we'll step aside here. When we come back, we'll talk about the Hurricane 100 here on Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What? No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm going to do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up. See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
If you're a gearhead and you just can't get enough of your favorite motorsports on that channel on the cable, or you look at that Guy network and you just go, what does that have to do with me? We have the answer. Performance Motorsports Network. Right here on the internet. The best cruising tunes, the best in motorsports programming, and the best shows. We have opinionated hosts, and we like it that way. If you want to get involved, if you want to bench race, be listening for information coming up soon right here on this channel, the Performance Motorsports Network, your source for motorsports.
Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ, photo booth, and uplighting company of Turn 5 Live and the Performance Motorsports Network. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are professional and experienced with events of any type. Creekside Entertainment specializes in wedding packages that are affordable and fun, and they are ready to serve you with the most up-to-date music and karaoke selection. If you can sing it in the shower, you can come out and sing it with Creekside Entertainment. And don't forget about the Creekside Entertainment photo booth and uplighting service that will transform your wedding or party into an event the family will be talking about for years. Trust the entertainment company that racers trust. Call Stu at area code 315-481-9700 or visit them online at creeksideentertainmentdj.com. You can also find them on Facebook and Twitter. Creekside Entertainment, division sponsor of the Black Rock Bandits in 2015.
Hi, race fans. This is Gary Tompkins, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live on PMN.
Gary Tompkins, driver of the 84, bringing us back from commercial break. And, Gary didn't have too bad a Super Dirt week. Unfortunately, toward the end of the event, the motor started dying out on him a little bit, and he would fall just outside of the top 5. It wasn't from a lack effort this week from the Tompkins 84 team, and a strong showing late in the event. And as I predicted last Tuesday night, it just seems like Gary is the veteran guy that he's just always there at the end at Super Dirt week. So it was nice to see them have a good solid run. Even motor issue and all there toward the end. But anyway, let's get back to some of the other results from Super Dirt Week. One of the things that is so great about Dirt Week is the satellite shows that take place throughout the week. And one of those shows, the Hurricane 100 for the Dirt Car 358 Modified Series, took place on Thursday night. Happy to say this is the first Hurricane 100 I've been to, and after what I saw Thursday night, Brad, I will be back to Brewerton for the Hurricane 100. Just a fantastic show, a racy surface, top, middle, bottom. You could pick any of those grooves, and guys could make any of those grooves work depending on how the car was set up. And just a real entertaining race, especially toward the front. Now, Ryan Susi and Billy Decker, yes, they started on the front row, but to say that Billy Decker ended up winning the race, really didn't tell the story of that event, as Susi and him would trade the lead. Danny Johnson drove from 12th up to 3rd, and it really, for a while there, those guys were nose to tail in the second half of the event, and you thought, boy, we don't know who's going to win this race when all is said and done. But it was Billy Decker who picked up the big win. We listened in as Shane Andrews was in victory lane interviewing the winner. So let's hear now from Billy Decker.
I was looking through the numbers here tonight, and this is your first 358 modified Super Dirt Series win here at the Brewerton Speedway, and it comes at a pretty good time. A good time to get hot here at Super Dirt Week.
It's been a long time coming, hasn't it? I'm just happy to be here. I can't thank Jeremy Smith and his entire team enough. They really dug in, and he stopped by my work a few weeks ago and said he bought a motor, and I said, well, let's go racing. And these guys are all pumped. I'm just tickled because they're very exciting to be around, and they're working really hard. It's nice to pay dividends like that.
What happened to the car early on? It looked like there was a little bit of problem in the hot lap session.
We had a carburetor issue. The base plate had come loose from the carburetor, and then the rear float stuck, so it wasn't running so well. But these guys went to work on it, turned this baby around, and made it into a hot rod.
Well, the driver had to go to work tonight as well. The 38 car, Ryan Susi, gave you a good run for your money there.
What's he thinking? I know, he's driving by me there. I'm sweating, my shield's fogging up. I'm old, for crying out loud, but he was really running good. We got the lap traffic there, and I was a little bit limited. I think I sealed my left rear tire, and it held us up a little bit, and he was able to get to us, and he was running really good. I get my hats off to him, and I just caught him behind the car and rolled the top of him, so I'm thankful, you know what I mean? I had to work a little harder than I wanted to, but it's all good fun.
The Hurricane 100, historically here, the 24th edition during Super Dirt Week. This is a great time to catch on fire, and no matter what you're running here in Central New York, especially with all the races going on.
It is, you know what I mean? Anytime you can win a race, especially here at Brewerton, you look at this great crowd here. I'd like to thank all the fans for coming out and supporting us on Billy Whitaker night, and having a great time here at Brewerton Speedway, and I hope they were excited a little bit with the race, because I sure was.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Franklin Flyer, Billy Decker, picking up the win here tonight.
A lot of folks happy to see a Billy Decker win, as he not competing full-time, I don't believe, at Brewerton this season. But, it was nice to see him get a win. And actually, here was an interesting stat from the night that Shane had mentioned earlier in the night. Billy Decker had never won a 358 modified series race at Brewerton. Now, with a guy with as much history and as many races as Billy Decker has won, anytime you can toss out a stat like that is pretty cool in my book. So first 358 series win for Decker at Brewerton. Finishing in the second spot, what a race for Ryan Susi. I thought late in the race, with about 30 to go, I thought that race was going to be Susi's to lose, as he was fast. You can tell how much Ryan Susi has improved over the last 5 years, racing Friday nights at Ransomville and occasionally at Merrittville as well. And boy, he has really improved a lot, and he showed it, besting some of the best small block drivers in the Northeast at Brewerton on Thursday night. Here's what Susi had to say post-race.
Over here, man. A heck of a run for you tonight. This car looks like you can put it anywhere as you want, but what was the difference in the race?
He was better in lap traffic. He's got about 7,000 more laps around this place at best, but congrats to those guys. It was a great car for us. The track really smoothed out come feature time. It was weird. It was real choppy early, but the track smoothed out. The guys put a great car on me the last two nights. We've been, top 5 both nights. Tonight, I don't think I was as good as Billy was. I was just able to get up there on the restarts, but hell of a job to everybody here at Brewerton and my whole crew, all my great sponsors, Aztec Consulting Experts, Young Drivers Canada, Tim Phillips Garage, Phil Pack Packaging, DMS Powder Coating, National Maintenance, all the great sponsors, Big Nell Racing Products. It was awesome. I wish we could have got it done, but second place here is not too bad.
Take us through. You came over to Billy and you said, great job, and you didn't mean to get into him. What happened down there in turn number 1?
Yeah, the lap cars were kind of making their own line sometimes. And he checked up to go around somebody, and he left the bottom open. And I was committed at the starter stand, already on the brakes, and right at the last second, he didn't know I was coming, and we just kind of bumped there. But he's a world-class driver. He was able to just work around it, get back behind me, and win it clean. And I wish we could have had a little something for him on that green-white checker, but I just spun my tires so bad, and at that point I just kind of went into protect mode. But good job to Doc to rebound after last night. I'm just kind of can't even speechless, really, just to be in the top 3 with guys like this. It really is special.
Racing with some heavy Goliaths. Great job tonight. Ryan Susie, ladies and gentlemen, a finest showing for him.
So that was Ryan Susie's thoughts after picking up a second-place finish. Danny Johnson had a strong car on Thursday, but drew 12 in the redraw, and that set up a long night for him, but a very strong performance for those guys as he drove from 12th to 3rd and was in contention for the lead late, but just didn't have enough to get by Susie and Billy Decker. Here was Danny Johnson's thoughts post-race.
Down here with the man who had to start all the way back there in position number 12, and he ends up on the podium, the Dr. Danny Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, pretty good hot rod for you tonight.
Yeah, well, that podium, that 12th place start didn't help me out too much, did it?
No, what gets you up here, you got the 3rd, but man, if you started a little bit closer to the front, you might have been standing over there in victory lane. The car was that good, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't bad, but we did get ahead of the 38, and he did get back by us, so I don't know what to say about that, but we had a good run. I'm really happy for my team and it's a great facility that we have here and great fans that we come in to entertain. So it's my pleasure to be here.
I asked Billy about this. This is a good time of year, this right now, with all the big money races coming up this weekend. Good time to get hot. It looks like you guys are hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah, well, we've been trying to all year, but sometimes we hit, sometimes we don't, but sometimes we're only hitting on 6, but we're trying our best.
The Dr. Danny Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, down here in our top 3. How about a round of applause one more time? The Franklin Flyer, Billy Decker, Ryan Susie, and the Dr. Danny Johnson.
So there's your top 3. We also, over in the pit area, caught up in person with Alan Johnson, who finished in the 4th spot. He was driving the 14J, and this is their small block effort. And they raced this car at the satellite shows as well as at Super Dirt Week. And again, this is the beauty of Super Dirt Week being not on a mile track anymore. These guys can go and race their satellite shows with a car that they race at Super Dirt Week, where in previous years, you really wouldn't see guys do that a lot. Alan Johnson finished in the 4th spot. Here's what he had to say about his finish on Thursday and what change they needed to maybe be a top 3 car and maybe even contend for the win. Going to talk with 4th place finisher Alan Johnson. And Alan, if you look at the box score, you started 5th, you finished 4th. You gained 1 spot during the night, but there was a whole lot more racing going on than just the 1 spot.
Yeah, I feel we had a real good car. I just I got messed up with some lap cars, and I don't know, I just couldn't, every time the guy in front of me make a mistake, I seemed to be in the wrong place. Just didn't quite go our way. I had a really good car, but 4th is better than what we finished last night, so we can't complain too much.
And this car here, tell us a little bit about this car here, because you've had some good runs with it.
Yeah, I bought this car a couple weeks ago from a guy up in North Country, somewhere up by Ogdensburg or something, and we had it ran good. We ran good with the Utica. We had a 4th place finish and took it to I think it was Weesport. We had a good run going and broke a piston in the motor. So we didn't know how many laps or anything. We didn't know. We bought the thing used. We had no idea. Yeah. So we got it rebuilt, and it's back to running real well again.
I remember reading about the piston issue, but fortunately it was just the piston and not anything more terminal.
Well, it was just a piston, but it was probably a little more than a piston. But by the time you get done with these engine builders, it was a $7,500 bill.
Yeah. Talk to us about this run here on Thursday night. You guys qualified in the 23rd spot today. How do we evaluate where we're going the rest of the week?
I feel good about it. We're going to make some changes. I feel we can make a couple changes, get a little better, and time will tell. If we hit it right. But I feel pretty confident in what we got.
Good luck to you the rest of the week.
Okay, thank you.
Alan Johnson comes home in the 4th spot here at Brewerton. So that was the thoughts from Alan Johnson. Billy Dunn in that 9 car, again driving with that W16 engine underneath the hood. He finished in the 5th spot. Said after the race, car was just a little tight. Let's hear now from Billy Dunn. 5th place run tonight for Billy Dunn in the 9 car. And Billy, I talked to some of the other guys in the top 5. A lot of them talking about how the lap traffic tonight was really the equalizer for everybody.
It was, but if you were good enough, you could get by him. I just got way too tight as the race went on. Just couldn't maneuver the way I needed to, but it's the first time I've raced here, I think, since 2010. First time I've ever been here in a small block, so we'll take a 5th place.
5th place to start out some of the satellite shows. I know that was something you told us the other night. You were looking forward to coming out to some of these nighttime shows.
Yeah, we struggled a little bit last night, but we made some changes and ran really good with that car today at Oswego. Happy with tonight's race. First time I've ever really run the satellite shows, so we'll take this and run that W16 mode. Really didn't know what to expect, so looking forward to the rest of the week.
Yeah, both of those on the front row for Saturday. Did that surprise you at all?
Not with how the track was. It was really, really slippery and kind of played into mine and Tim's hands as far as that. It could have gone either way, and we'll see what the rest of the week brings. But today, anyways, with how slick it was really an advantage to have a less horsepower motor.
So that's the kind of track we're hoping for on Saturday then?
Yeah, it could be a little better than that. It's pretty hairy right now, and it's hard enough to get around there by yourself, let alone racing other cars. But it's not nearly as bad as I think a lot of people thought it was going to be, so they got something to work with, and I think it'll be good.
Taking a look at the car tonight, hardly a scratch on the thing. That's got to be the goal, trying to run the car on the satellite shows and at Oswego.
Yeah, we really weren't sure what to expect with that. We got through both of these shows. Like I said, last night wasn't exactly what we wanted, but we were good tonight, and we got some work to do. We know we need to get to the Big Null tent and scale this thing. We've changed bars, springs, and everything, and we have no idea where this thing is right now, so we need to get back to square one tomorrow.
Well, good job tonight with the 5th place run.
Thank you.
All right, that's Billy Dunn in the 9 car, comes home in the 5th spot. There you go, your top 5 finishers from the Hurricane 100 at the Brewerton Speedway. Want to send a big shout out to Corey Reed as well as David Medler for making all of that happen for us to come out and cover the race at Brewerton. Like I said, I think only probably the 2nd time I've been to a race at Brewerton, and really enjoyed the first show that I went to. And I'll tell you, after Thursday, I'll definitely go back again. And that was just a great race, and they really set the track up nice. Like I said, guys had different lanes they could pick from. And, as it got slicker and slicker as the night went on, these guys were really driving these cars. And you could hear it in Billy Decker's voice, just how hard he had to drive at the end. And some of that courtesy of Ryan Susi trying to, pick up what would be, one of the bigger wins of his career, without a doubt. We've talked to Ryan before on the show. We've talked to Billy Van Pelt, who's had a great relationship with Susie over the years and even raced some of his cars at Ransomville before. This is a guy that, graduate of the go-kart ranks who was, very, very strong, won a lot of races in the go-kart ranks, and, is just slowly moving his way up the chain. He's one of the more competitive 358 modified teams out there. They don't necessarily run on the large budget of the guys that race on the Super Dirt Car Series, but, a strong team nonetheless. And when they come out to these specials, and they love to run the satellite shows at Super Dirt Week, they're always a team to contend with. Now, they tried to qualify, in the Win in Your In event on Saturday night at the Fulton Speedway. And Susie started toward the tail of the field and drove all the way up to 5th. So again, some of the better modified teams that didn't qualify their way in, he got himself all the way up to 5th. So a great week there for Susie, and congratulations to Billy Decker on the win at Brewerton. We'll step aside here. When we come back, we'll talk about the World of Outlaws. We'll have Brad help us out here with a little rundown of the top 5 finishers from the World of Outlaws on Saturday night, and we'll give a little bit of our breakdown of that race at Fulton. You're listening to Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
For 17 years, Stock Car Steel has been a leading materials supplier to the racing industry. Now they're also an official motorsports content partner of Race Chaser Online. The biggest names in NASCAR trust Stock Car Steel for all their raw materials, such as carbon steel, chrome moly, DOM, aluminum, plastics, and much, much more. You can't build a race car without the basic materials, and Stock Car Steel is the place to get them. Don't forget to also visit Stock Car Steel's sister company, SRI Supplies, for racing and industry. SRI is your number one source for all your shop supply needs. Nuts, bolts, rivets, tapes, adhesives, cutting tools, chemicals, body shop supplies, paint shop supplies, lubricants, and more. A well-stocked race shop is a winning race shop, and the road to winning begins with 3 letters, SRI. For more information, visit stockcarsteel.com and SRI-supplies.com. You can also find them on Facebook at Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, or call either company toll-free at 1-888-752-7272.
Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ, photo booth, and uplighting company of Turn 5 Live and the Performance Motorsports Network. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are professional and experienced with events of any type. Creekside Entertainment specializes in wedding packages that are affordable and fun, and they are ready to serve you with the most up-to-date music and karaoke selection. If you can sing it in the shower, you can come out and sing it with Creekside Entertainment. And don't forget about the Creekside Entertainment photo booth and uplighting service that will transform your wedding or party into an event the family will be talking about for years. Trust the entertainment company that racers trust. Call Stu at area code 315-481-9700 or visit them online at creeksideentertainmentdj.com. You can also find them on Facebook and Twitter. Creekside Entertainment, division sponsor of the Black Rock Bandits in 2015.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Hi, race fans. This is Matt Shepard, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live on PMN.
Welcome back, race fans, to Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Stephen and Brad Ovens here with you to round out the show. And Brad, we got to take in a pretty good show on Saturday night. World of Outlaws at the Fulton Speedway. But, I feel like we need to tell this story because, to say that we went to Fulton on Saturday night would only tell half of the story, wouldn't it?
Yeah, about what was it? About 200 miles worth of half of the story.
Yeah, about 232 miles.
Boy, sometimes you hit a home run, sometimes you pop it up in the infield, and that's just kind of way that cookie crumbles. But to say the least, we at least had a good experience doing it.
Well, that's for sure. So I'll let the race fans in on our story. We got canceled pretty early at Super Dirt Week on Saturday with the rain, and so we thought, you know what? They should have a pretty good modified field down at I-88 for the Short Track Super Series North Region finale. So we packed up the crews and down I-81 we went on our way to I-88 Speedway and pulled in the gates. And I don't know, Brad, about an hour as we're driving into the racetrack, about an hour away, we start running into that misty rain. And boy, that was just how the night was going to go. We pulled in, and about 20 minutes after getting our wristbands all secured, we found out that they had canceled the action. So instead of stopping at Fulton, which was about a 20-30 minute drive away, if that, we went 2 hours south, only to turn around and drive 2 hours back north. And back to Fulton we went. And when we got there, Donnie Schatz picked up the win. The inversion was just perfect for him. He would start on the pole in the dash and end up winning the thing and starting from the front row. Although he did have to pass Double D Danny Dietrich to get the win. And Brad, you had a front row seat for it down shooting pictures in 3 and 4. The battle for the lead was intense.
Man, that was one of the better sprint car races I've seen this year. I was kind of surprised. That track was really wet and heavy, and just it was a night of high speeds. Obviously, as Logan Schuchart actually ended up setting a new track record along with 27 other cars that beat the previous track record. So, I mean, that just tells you how fast that track was. But, with a track like that, the line was so thin as far as how hard you could get in the cushion, or, if you hopped that cushion just a little bit, it was like driving your car into a big open body of water. It just, boom, it's like hitting a wall before you hit the wall. And a couple times, Danny Dietrich did that, jumped the cushion a couple times, and there was one point he actually had it up on one wheel, or excuse me, no, that was another car. But they were wheeling up off of 3 and 4. It was nuts.
Oh, it was crazy, but it was entertaining, and I think the fans in attendance weren't disappointed. They may have been disappointed that Schatz won, but you know what? Those guys are really on their game right now, and we'll see just how many more they can pick off before the season's over. Lucas Wolf had a great race in that Zemco car. He finished in the second spot. Danny Dietrich would finish in the third spot. And like I said, a real entertaining race there on Saturday night. It was a lot of fun to be there. And, thanks to all the folks from World Racing Group that were running that show at Fulton on Saturday for having us out to cover that event. And, the other event that took place on that on Saturday night was the Win and You're In event. And Chris Heil, talk about having to hold off, one of the greats in the dirt modifieds. Bobby Varon, he's won a lot of big races and really a veteran of the modified ranks. And Chris Heil held him off till the end. Heil picked up the win. He would earn the 42nd starting spot in the Bud Light 200. He ran approximately... Well, their plan going into Sunday was to run about 10 laps. I talked to him just after driver introductions, and he said his target was about 10 laps. So not exactly sure how many laps he ended up going, but that was his target going into the race. They made the show, but, they weren't going to, really race it hard and take a chance of tearing up a good race car. So that was the Win and You're In driver. He beat out Bobby Varon for that one. So that I'll tell you, there was so much happening at Super Dirt Week. It's hard to cover it all in 2 hours, but those were the winners and some of the folks that we talked to along the way. Hope you enjoyed the program tonight. We'll be back next Tuesday with an all-new edition of Turn 5 Live right here on the Performance Motorsports Network. On behalf of the entire staff at PMN and RaceChaserOnline.com and 3 Wide Life, we thank you for tuning in tonight. We'll see you next Tuesday with an all-new episode of Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Turn
5 Live is a copyrighted production of the Performance Motorsports Network. PerformanceMotorsportsNetwork.com is a member of the Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host, co-host, and guest, and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either the Performance Motorsports Network or Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, the advertisers, or marketing partners. Thank you for listening to Turn 5 Live. You can listen to Turn 5 Live every Tuesday night right here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Stay tuned for more great PMN programming.
Everything's better when she's around.